Okay, hey guys, what's up? It's your boy coming back at you with another video again. Right? That's right. You thought that was it? Nope. Coming back this time with another video about working in retail. See, I've been meaning to make this video for quite some time now. Let me throw this away. And for the moment being, I never got the chance to make it out because I was never really that confident to really make the video about work. So back in the day, I used to work into Hobby Lobby, and I think I still have my uniforms up there. And overall, I got the job because I like working on model kits, so I bought like a bunch of model kits. So I started working in that, and I worked as like a person who just worked in the warehouse all the time, so I wasn't really dealing with customers too much. But one thing for sure is that I had my fair share of bad experiences with almost all types of people. So first off, let's just say, look, there are some nice people in this world, right? But when you go to retail, there's like a switch that is flipped, okay? Because on one side, there's a lot of people that are pretty cool, and then there's another side where just a lot of people are just kind of assholes. So one of the things that I personally had some experiences with, and I just want to go into this one because it's just kind of been stuck to my head for a while. But there was a moment where I was closing up like that day, like I was supposed to close that day. And then, of course, you know, there are shoplifters around the store sometimes. And this happened to be one of those nights where you would spot a shoplifter. And so one thing I hear is I'm sweeping up the floors, you know, just kind of like getting a dust mob. And the next thing you know is that literally I just hear the fire alarm go off. And I'm like, what? Okay, who's setting off the fire alarm? Because, you know, the doors are just the exit doors. The emergency exits have a fire alarm system installed in it. So whenever you open the door, the fire alarm will go off. And the next thing you know, I just see a coworker coming in and just be like, because I go to the place of like where I'm hearing the fire alarm, and I just see a coworker kind of walking back a little shook a little bit. And one thing to note is that this person, whoever stole it, like whoever was stealing the stuff, he freaking ran out the back exit, and he freaking ran to his car that was already conveniently parked at like a different store, but like it was right behind it. So in some places they'll have like a whole setup of like, you'll have a big parking lot right here, right? You'll have a parking lot right here, and you have the store, and then you'll have this back section. Well, the person was parked back there, and it's not really a place that should be used for customers. More of like, that should be a place of like deliveries. You know, whenever a truck comes in, they'll deliver it in that area. But for some reason, the car was parked there. And what ends up happening is that one of the security guards was already writing this guy a ticket. The next thing you know, he's writing a ticket, and the guy gets in the car, and he zooms off, and while he's kind of like behind the car, and his bike is like right here, the car's right here, like hits him with his car while reversing, and literally takes off speeding. Now, honestly, I was good friends with that security guy, and he kind of told me what happened afterwards. Well, obviously, the first thing that happened is that the guy was kind of acting a little sus, right? You know, at the store when we would go to review the footage. And what ends up happening is the guy ends up taking a few things from like the hobby section, like the model kit section or something like that. And one of the things that happens is that once he kind of just sees like this, one of our employees at the time, just like following him because, we want to make sure he's not stealing anything. So we go ahead and, we gotta stalk the guy a little bit. And next thing you know, he runs out the back of the store, and he, takes off in his car after hitting a security guard. Next thing you know is that he apparently, and this is like a secondhand account. Like I don't know how true this is, but apparently this guy lived like fairly close to the area. And I guess the police ended up like catching him or whatever. And it was some crazy shit that happened. But anyways, the next thing you know is like after that event, the security guard ended up having to wear a cast, right? And his bike got completely torn up. It's just like, it got ran over, so it's It was pretty much dead. And he ended up having to get a new bike, and his leg got really messed up for like a good while. But yeah, he was telling me all this stuff. And I'm like, whoa. Now, this was the other time. This was kind of like sort of till my last day here, and this is a pretty quick one. But the next thing you know is that I am supposed to be watching this shoplifter person, all right? And at the same time, she's freaking yelling at this person on the phone. She's like, what the... Like she was freaking yelling like crazy at this person on the phone. And I guess she was calling PayPal support. Like, she was telling me all of this, right? She was very self-aware of it. She was telling me all of it. And I'm like, oh, okay. And, like, it was so weird that, like, it was so weird how she treated me, like, in terms of being self-aware about, like, an employee watching or whatever. She's like, oh, yeah, come with me. Yeah, come on. You're supposed to follow me, right? And I'm like, yeah, I guess so. So anyways, the manager's looking at me, and like a few other coworkers are just kind of staring me down a little bit while I'm following this lady because she wants me to follow her. And, you know, she's telling me all this, and I'm like, okay, yep. Yeah. Well, anyways, what happens is that she wasn't able to, she couldn't get money processed out of PayPal or something to, like, her credit card or something like that, and she was getting really mad over it, and it was insane. Like, I felt so bad for the lady that was on the other line because I could hear her yell. And you could probably hear her yell from, like, across the store. It was insane. She gets whatever she needed to get, and, like, in terms of PayPal, but, like, you know, she kept asking me to follow her. Hey, you know what's so funny, dude? She was like... She, like, grabs, like, a spoon or whatever because, you know, there's, like, a seasonal aisle there. And, like, you're able to, like... There's, like, kitchenware stuff. And she's like, oh, yeah. That's good for drugs. And she looks at me and she's like, oh, yeah, just don't do drugs, but this is good for drugs right here. And I'm like, okay, what about that? I don't know how to react to that. And one of the first things that happens is, you know, after all that, she's yelling at the PayPal lady or whatever that was on the other line. I felt so bad for her. I really felt so bad for her. Look, I can understand when you get frustrated, but when you gotta really level head yourself a bit. You know, I'm usually a person who likes to keep calm. And one thing to note is that all the other coworkers that were there, they were like, oh, what happened? I'm like, I don't know, dude. She was yelling at this lady like from PayPal or something. I felt really bad for her. And yeah, she was getting like really mad. It was like, dang. That was a very short story. But so what ends up happening is that she kind of knew that we were, you know, sus of her, and she kind of just bought her stuff and just kind of left. And there was not too much after that. I mean, there were some other times where, like, it was at, like, very slow, and, like, it was close to closing time. And I remember this one guy, right? And, yeah, this one guy, like, during closing time, he was just, like, talking to himself, and, like, I was like, oh... And I tell my manager about him because he's acting a little sus. And then he's like, oh, yeah, go watch him, dude. All right. So I'm like, okay, I'll go watch him. And I'll go ahead and watch him. I'm following him a bit. I'm like, you know, talking to him a little bit. He's kind of a chill person, but he's kind of like, you can tell he's kind of not there. Like, literally, he is not there. One of the highlights was kind of funny, dude. It's like, before he left, he saw, like, they sell like an entire rose that's like this big, and the stem is like this long and all that, like, and what ends up happening, he finds one and he's like, woo, damn, I'll be good for my bone, bitch. And I couldn't stop to help but laugh. And I'm like, see, after he says that, you know, he's heading out of the store, and he's about to head out, and he turns back and he's like, hey, you know, thank you for understanding with me. You know, like I am not a good person. I'm like a very bad person. And I'm like, oh, okay. and yeah, that's the last I ever saw of him. I don't know what happened to him after. It's like kind of driving, you know, especially working in retail. You don't see the same people that often, right? There will be times you will see the same people maybe once or twice a week or something coming by or whatever, but usually it's like driving where you'll deal with them once, and you, like the bad people, the bad apples at least, you will deal with them once, and that's it. See, this Hobby Lobby was a kind of small place, and the warehouse was like literally not even a warehouse. It was a back room. All right, it was as good as a back room gets. I gotta say, dude, literally the back room was like so small, and when we got Christmas items, we got a lot. All right, there was times where we would unload a truck, and I specifically remember this one time. There were so many items in this back room that we could barely get out of the truck. We could barely get out of there, you know. It's like, because there's so many boxes like all over the place, you know. You gotta organize it. It's just a whole lot. So, and it wasn't something that we can kind of half-ass and just be like, oh yeah, we'll do it later. No, we gotta do this now. You know, we can't do the truck later. The truck gotta go now. So one thing for sure is that working at Hobby Lobby was kind of interesting, and I will continue this again. All right, this is not all my stories. This is only the very big highlights of the ones that I can remember off the top of my head. And these stories are usually like, I mean, it's been a while since I've worked at Hobby Lobby. It's been like 2 years almost at this point. So it's kind of hard to kind of remember it, but definitely I will tell you more work stories because, oh my goodness, dude. Like so many memories of it I can think of. And one thing for sure is that they are large. Some of them are pretty large, some of them are pretty crazy, but yeah. I hope you guys liked the video. If you guys like it, leave it a like, and dude, leave those comments below, bro. I want to see more of those comments. Don't give me 2, don't give me 3, give me 10 of those comments right now, because I want to see you guys talk about these videos. Because how am I going to improve without any feedback? So give me those comments, dude. I want you guys to post all your comments, all the comments that you've ever had about retail ever. All right. Working. Like, I want to hear your guys' work stories because, oh my goodness, dude, it is so interesting hearing about other people's work stories. Like, it is insane. There are some pretty crazy ones out there, and I definitely want to hear you guys' thoughts on it. So please leave a comment below, dude. I want to see those comments go from 2 to 3 to 10 of them. I want to see 10 comments on those. And no, my comments replying to those comments are not counting. So until next time, I'll see you guys in the next video. Hopefully. Wave to the camera. Did you just do it backwards?
Yeah, like John Cena.
That's so weird. I'm done. This is a weird trailer.
Can you even see me in here?
I could see a silhouette.